a journey. One song can change a moment. One smile can start a friendship. One hug can lift a spirit. One candle can wipe out darkness. One life can make a difference. One hope can lift a spirit. One touch can show you care. One word can start a prayer. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you with bowed heads and humble hearts. We ask that you be in this meeting and allow us to conduct ourselves in a manner that you will be pleasing. We ask that you touch every home that is represented here. Lord, thank you for giving us traveling grace and mercy as we traveled here, and I ask that you give us traveling grace and mercy as we go back to our designated place. Lord, continue to bless us, keep us, and guide us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, we have our public comment section now. Just keep in mind, if you're here for one of the zoning hearings, you'll have an opportunity to speak during that time. But is there anyone else here in the audience that'd like to speak to us about anything for 5 minutes or less? You know, we've changed the state name and address.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is George Woods. I live at 76 Glenwood Road in Shula, and I'm here tonight to speak in opposition of rezoning the parcel of land in Shula, as well as any movement forward on allowing this truck stop to even break ground at Shula. In last month's meeting with the zoning board, we were told they have rights, meaning the landowner and the developer. I take offense to that. They are not citizens of Tift County. They are taxpayers. They are registered voters. They are represented by the 7 of you. We are your citizens, taxpayers, and voters, that you all at some point in time taken an oath to represent us to the best of your ability. We, the people here tonight who live in this community, must be a priority. I want to address one aspect of this issue, one that I think is probably the most important. But before I go any further, what I have left to say is in no direct reflection of our fine local law officers or the excellent job they do to keep us safe. In June, I asked for an open records request for all 911 calls made to the Pilot and Love truck stop since November of 2022. That's 18 months for both truck stops here in Tift County. This is 582 pages, which represents 536 911 calls, and this is just from the Pilot truck stop. These calls range from anything from bloody noses to an actual homicide. Criminal trespass, shoplifting, assault, suspicious activity, solicitation is not something we welcome to our community, and it's something we don't want in our community. Mind you, the Pilot truck stop is closest to the center of town, where you would expect to get the quickest response. What would this look like on a truck stop that's even further away from the sheriff's department, as we're only a few miles from the county line? This proposed truck stop has the potential getaway of 75 north and south, 41 north and south, and just go across 75 on Shula Brookfield Road and never be heard from again. Not all of these calls led to an arrest. If you go into reading the comments, many of the suspects left the premises before the authorities could arrive. We don't want this in our neighborhood or near our schools, and this is not a general business. The time allotted to me tonight does not allow me to go into the facts of sex trafficking and child trafficking that goes on in these types of establishments. Another exhibit I have here tonight is a list of 81 truck stops in America that are deemed do not stop locations because of crime rates and the ability of the driver's load to be stolen. Imagine a load being stolen. 20 states represented, 5 in the state of Georgia. Tifton's on this list, as well as Auburn. According to the National Association of Truck Stop Operators, there are more than 2,687 truck stops in the U.S. So just imagine the criminal activity that it takes to get the attention to be recognized on this list when one truck stop is 0.037% of the sample. I live 1,564 feet from the proposed entrance of this truck stop. My wife and I have kids that enjoy being outside, riding bikes, playing basketball, or just sitting on our porch. We live around retirees, we live around other families with kids. The kids catch the school bus 500 feet from the proposed entrance to this truck stop at a designated bus stop on our road. On occasion, deputies have driven up and down our road looking for suspects that have robbed the Dollar General. We've even had 3 counties patrolling our roads last year for an Amber Alert. We all know everywhere is the element for criminal activity. Sadly, this is the world we live in. But I do not think we should be actively inviting this kind of criminal activity in our neighborhood. Commissioners, I'm asking you as a concerned citizen to uphold your oath of office and take care of your constituents. Don't allow any progress on your watch to move forward with this rezoning issue. I ask that you make it as difficult as possible to allow this development to go forward, and hopefully the owners and the developers will find a more suitable location for their business. Thank you.
Thank you, George. All right, we're still in the public comment section. Once again, if you're here to speak on one of the zoning hearings, you'll get that opportunity in a moment. But is there anyone else in the audience like to speak to us about anything else at this time? All right, seeing no one. We have no one making appointments with us tonight, and then no items to be added to this meeting. All right, now to the minutes for the work session on June the 4th, 2024, the public hearing on June the 10th, 2024, regular session on June the 10th, 2024, and the call session on June the 18th, 2024. Commissioners have had a chance to review those minutes, and I would entertain a motion to approve. Commissioner Hester made a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Commissioner Hughes seconded. All in favor? Commissioner Riggins?
Commissioner Riggins, yes.
Okay, Commissioner Riggins on the phone with us tonight. He's not feeling well, so I'm glad he made the effort to join us on the phone. All right. Okay, Mr. Rowell, you want to open the public hearing now?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Moving to item number 6.1 on the agenda, which is public hearing, first public hearing, which is application TC-ZA-24-05. This is a petition being made by the Legenda Singh, which is owner of the property, and Jeremy Bluffington, agent, to rezone 9/10 of an acre of tract, which is a tract of land located beside 3232 US Highway 41 North. It's map number 0042A, parcel 015. The property is currently zoned agriculture, which is AG, and the requested zoning is GB, which is general business, for the purpose of developing a travel center. This is the matter. I shall open a public hearing at this time. We will first, I'm going to ask the board to address any conflict of interest. Then we'll hear a staff report, and then we'll take a comment from the public, okay? With regard to the conflict of interest, question directed to the board members is whether you, yourself, any family member that you have, or any business that you have an interest in, whether any of those entities or individuals have a financial interest in the application to be considered, or have an interest in any nearby property that also may be affected by the rezoning request. If you have such a interest, please declare conflict, and we will have you abstain.
Mr. Riggins, could you hear Mr. Rowell? Okay.
So there appears to be no conflict of interest. Let the record reflect there have been no affirmative responses. And with that, before we open it up for comment from the staff, I'll also let the public know that we have published on the doors and the walls our public hearing procedures, as well as Georgia's conflict of interest laws, and they're available to be reviewed there at that place at this time. If the staff will bring forth their report.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Our first application before you tonight is TC-ZA-24-05, application by Virginia Singh, owner of Jerry Buckingham, agent. Current zoning classification We have fielded many calls in opposition to this request. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that the board may have for me at this time.
All right, any questions from the board? Okay, Mr. Brown.
All right, thank you. This time we'll start off by receiving any comment from anyone that is in favor of this application or that supports it. If you will approach the lectern and address the board with any comments you have, state your name and address, please, when you step forward. Anybody, please.
Good evening, board. My name is Robert King. Address is 39 Creekside Lane, that is in Forsyth, Georgia. I'm representing as the agent this evening. So just wanted to, if you guys have any questions, I'm available. As mentioned, we are trying to rezone this just to make it continuous with the general business that's already there.
Okay. We're having difficulty hearing you. Could you please repeat your name and address, please? For the
Robert
record?
King, 39 Creekside Lane, Forsyth, Georgia.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anything else you'd like to say?
Just if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
All right. There's no questions, then this time we'll let you have a seat, please, and we'll receive comment from anyone or those that are opposed to this application. You'll please step to the lectern. And, Mr. Chairman, what about our time tonight?
We're going to have 20 minutes for each side, so Mr. King didn't take up much of his time, but it'll be 20 minutes for those opposed to it as well. So.
Thank you.
Y'all hear me okay?
Good.
Blue?
There you go.
All right. Blue, you out here. My name is Chris Cutts. Reside at 32 Gideon Drive in Chula, Georgia. I appreciate the opportunity to come before you all to express our concern for our community. Over the past couple of weeks, I feel you've heard from an overwhelming majority of residents expressing valid concerns of this proposed development and the propensity it has to cause everlasting effects to Chula we all love and choose to live in. While some just consider this a simple rezoning change, it is more than just that and can impact our community drastically for generations to come. Based on my current profession, I work daily to be a proponent of business development and growing communities by funding such projects. The key caveat to many of these projects are, do they make sense and is it a good fit? As a 20-plus year resident of this community, I think the words expressed and the numbers screened, this is not the ideal place or proper fit for the scope of business proposed and the effects of its immediate surroundings. You can't hear me or am I too loud?
We can't hear you.
Sorry, I feel like I'm yelling.
He said it's a bad fit.
As Chula residents, we are not ignorant to the fact that future development is imminent. Whether it's a year from now or 10 years from now, it is coming, and that we have no control over. But what we can work to control is what will complement our area versus what will compromise our area. With that said, I'd like to share specifically some traffic implications to the area this development will cause. The proposed Travel America site plans show 150 commercial vehicle and 150 passenger vehicle spots. This is an incredible influx of traffic for the present infrastructure to handle. Heavy traffic from neighboring Tift Area Academy, specifically on Highway 41, where we have many young and inexperienced student drivers that navigate those roadways every day. There's train crossings. With this increased traffic, those will become more and more dangerous. Bus stops, as Mr. Wood referenced, there's a bus stop there in Glenwood Road. There's one at Chula Post Office that's nearby. These both pose safety and traffic issues for buses and students. The turn from Highway 41 on the Chula Brookfield Road is not a 90-degree turn. This is a sharp angle which would cause a difficult transition from road to road, both coming in and going. Farm equipment. As an ag community, this area is heavily trafficked with farm vehicles, especially during peak seasons. Numbers provided by one specific business whose location is within the 10th mile from the Chula Brookfield Road and a third of a mile from the proposed site entry on Highway 41 documented at least 2,173 hauling wagons, trucks, etc. moving their commodities in and out of their facility in 2023. Another area, melon farmer, reports approximately 800 school bus loads of melons moving from field to packing shed. From there,
they are sending out to another approximate 400 loads. This does not include other farmers in the area. Our local farmers in our community have enough challenges and struggles to deal with day to day, and they do not deserve the disruption in moving their harvested crops that this proposed development could cause. My next topic is roadway integrity and maintenance. The current state and ongoing plans for the major connectors, in other words, roads for this project bears mention as to the long-term plans for upkeep. Georgia DOT identifies Chula Brookfield Road as a major connector to I-75. Presently, the stretch of Chula Brookfield Road from Highway 41 to 125 is littered with patches, potholes, and aged asphalt. So, I want to pose a question to you. This can be rhetorical in nature, but what is the plan of semi-traffic on Chula Brookfield Road between I-75 and Highway 125? I have a handout I'd like to give you, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to refer to something pictured in this that you will see. You'll see this sign right here. This sign, which is the no truck sign, is right there as you enter from 125 on Chula Brookfield Road, and then also as you exit the interstate off of exit 69 headed east, there's also one of those signs. Okay? Along that way, within your package, you'll also see this listing of the bridge that's about midway point through that roadway that gives you the tonnages and weight limits for that. The average weight of a semi-truck with an empty trailer is already at 80% capacity of what that bridge limits are posted for handling. In other words, the average semi-truck hauling just over half of what its load capacity is exceeds that which is posted that that bridge can sustain. Proposed GDOT renovation of Chula Brookfield Road exit 6, the current bridge is substandard and only 34.3 feet wide. In the proposed renovation plan, while it does address lengthening the bridge to accommodate I-75 expansion, there is no mention of proposed widening of the bridge, which is already a challenge with ag traffic. According to Georgia DOT counts, on average, Highway 41 has 2,107 vehicles daily, along with 1,140 on Chula Brookfield Road. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reports 777 fatal accidents on Georgia roads that are non-interstate roads from 2018 to 2022. These statistics and aforementioned information demonstrates that the amount of traffic created by this rezoning would have tremendous impact to our community and would certainly compromise safety and fluid navigation on an already heavily trafficked roadway. Not to mention the disturbance and imposition of the adjacent residential property owners that call this home. Okay. All right. I will. Thank you so much.
That's the most I've heard my good friend Chris Cutt speaking in his
Got a lot to get out in short time.
I might need a step stool or something. Reed Hall, 131 South Dean Avenue, Tift, Georgia, 31794. I think. All right, so how did we get here today? I want to take a step back to a few weeks ago at the planning and zoning committee meeting, so y'all kind of understand where we are. I don't know exactly what all y'all see or are familiar with those meetings, but the 11 standards were presented at that meeting. According to the county staff, 10 of the 11 met standards to reach on this 0.9 acre. However, I looked into this and come up with 7 of the 11 standards do not meet the rezoning. And we were also told during this meeting that if a landowner, and this is a quote now, if a landowner wants to rezone their property, there's absolutely nothing we can do to prevent that. Furthermore, on the larger tract, if they want to show up and begin construction tomorrow, there is nothing we can do to stop that. That's a lie. That is a lie. And to back that up, I can go into let's see exactly where I'm at right here. So site development plans, according to the UDC, have to be voted on and approved by the planning and zoning and the county commissioners, not by the county staff. So planning and zoning is how they make their decisions on this rezoning. No context is used whatsoever as far as what is being rezoned for. How can we make a decision to rezone a piece of property without knowing what's going there? You gotta have context to make a decision that could change the landscape of that area for a long time. If my 5-year-old little boy comes to me and says, "Daddy, can I get something out of the refrigerator?" I'm gonna stop and pause a minute and say, "Son, I need some context. Do you want a chocolate milk or do you want a cold beer?" Without context, how can I make a valid assumption to what's going there and the decision that is not going to be detrimental to us? Moving on, I have studied the comprehensive plan and the code for Tift County quite a bit here lately, and general business is not sufficient for a truck stop. All truck stops in Tift County currently are zoned light industrial. Nowhere in the UDC can we find the term truck stop. Nowhere. Okay. Section 2.03.02D says any land use that is not identified in the table is prohibited unless it is found to be substantially similar by the manager and is his designing. So going back to the planning and zoning meeting, the county staff tells us one thing, and then they get to vote on this whether or not it is or it is not GB. I have a whole lot of faith in that. Legal counsel has advised in the case of challenging these concerns, a judge would come to the determination that according to the UDC, a truck stop exceeds the limitations of general business as it is not specifically referenced in the too much gray area as the previous code states. The Tift County UDC references 130 plants, trees, bushes. This is common name, scientific name within the site development section. Nowhere in there does it say anything about a truck stop, but crepe myrtles and Indian hawthorns are in there. According to the Greater Tift County Comprehensive Plan, general business this is the definition of general business. The purpose of this district shall be to provide and encourage the proper grouping and development of uses which include a wide variety of sales and services that will best accommodate the needs of the city and the traveling public in order to reduce highway congestion, traffic hazards, and blight along the public streets of the county. It's kind of counterintuitive to what we're doing right here. Only allow this is in the comprehensive plan. It says only allow this zoning district NGB along major corridors and residential areas where general commercial characteristics are already existing and new general business would not detrimentally affect the adjacent residential areas. On into the Greater Tift County Comprehensive Plan, and I cannot make this up. Section 4.7 says, the plan is to maintain the rural character of the area despite growth and development pressures. Encroaching development poses a threat to existing farmland, not only by turning existing farmland into residential subdivision, but also endangering farmland through perception of incompatible uses. This rezoning is 0.9 acres for a it's rezoned 0.9 acres. This is the wrong use, it is the wrong area, and they have picked the wrong people to mess with because we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue to fight this beyond today. Mark Freeman spoke a couple times on the DRI, Development of Regional Impact. Development of Regional Impact, or DRI, shall be submitted to the Southern Georgia Regional Commission for review and recommendation prior to issuance of any local building or development permit, utility tap, or rezoning. This is in Tift County Code. Even though supposedly the Southern Georgia Regional Commission has sent documents to the Tift County that they do not have to do this, it is still in Tift County Code that this has to happen before a rezoning. And as Mr. Woods and Mr. Cutts have expressed already the traffic and crime in this area, and me personally, the issue that I have with it is the proximity to Tift Area Academy. I have 3 little boys that go to Tift Area Academy. In fact, there's 650 students, 75 staff members there now. By rezoning this 0.9 acres, this puts the egress and ingress for the semis on Highway 41. That is what was specifically spoken by the agent at the conceptual meeting. Tift Area Academy is only 1,900 feet away. This is in plain sight of Tift Area. Thousands of transient passersby now have knowledge of a school and ultimately have access. I don't know if y'all are aware the world is after our children. Everywhere. You got to be very careful what my kids watch on TV because the world is after our children. This is in our backyard. We got to stand up because nothing good is going to come from this. We have to protect our children. We have to protect them for generations to come. With the amount of crime that Mr. George presented, think about the amount of pedophiles, drug dealers, sex traffickers within a line of sight 1,900 feet away from all these kids. Drop off and pick up is going to be a nightmare. Traffic is going to be absolutely incredible. Not only is traffic going to be dangerous for pickup, this gives a pedophile or sex trafficker the opportunity to snatch a child. One thing we have to look at is after school programs. We now have to step up security, build up security fence, security systems. You know, just last week y'all spoke on the security systems at the pickleball courts. Taxpayers are paying that. Taxpayers are not going to pay for the upgraded security to there. It's going to come from the parents.
We've got enough finance left. I don't know if anybody else wants to speak or not, but we're going to take the precedent.
So, you look at security. Over to $200,000 for a fence, gates, not including security guard. We have 1 resource officer now. Rezoning this 0.9 acres and making it where these people can see our school is we're going to have to hire not 1, but maybe 2 more security guards. Small pleasures we enjoy now will be taken away. You ever attended the TA football game on Friday night? The hillside is where you can find tons of little kids having their own pickup football game. Well, now with this development coming in right down the road, kids are going to have to sit next to us. We're not going to let them run around and just have fun playing in the dirt like kids should do, because we're going to be concerned for their safety. Baseball and softball games will be much the same. No pickup softball games.
There seems to be a couple behind you do want to speak. You only have 4 minutes left.
Okay. I'll play it real quick. Just next to this 0.9 acres, there's 2 residences. Okay. I rode by the other day and they were playing basketball. On each side of where this driveway is going to be. It's residential area. It's not general business. Those kids need to be thought about too. So, also, we have a court reporter here tonight. That is for one reason and one reason only. If this is passed, somebody's going to die. Somebody's going to get raped. Somebody's going to get killed. And we're going to have record that the county was warned by the citizens. And I'll finish right there.
That's right.
Crystal Gaynor, 202 Academy Drive. Sorry, I didn't have anything prepared tonight, and I wasn't going to speak tonight because I kind of beat it dead. Crystal Gaynor, 202 Academy Drive. But it was said at the planning and zoning meeting, it was said again tonight by county staff, and it is implied that if the majority of the zoning standards are met, then you should pass this. That is indeed not the case. There is nothing in state law that says that you need majority of the standards that this should be passed. There's nothing in your UDC that also says that you can deny this on just one zoning standard that is not met. And that zoning standard is E, but there's plenty more that's not met. And it's whether the proposed change will adversely affect existing conditions in the neighborhood or the community at large. Thanks.
All right, 2.5 minutes.
Alita Larcher, 15th grade, Fort Sugar, Georgia. Mr. Davis lied to y'all tonight, just like he lied to the Planning and Zoning Commission when they met June 30th.
you, Mr. Chairman. So this will conclude the public hearing. We'll close it formally, and this matter is ready for consideration by the board.
Any questions, discussion by any board member? All right, we have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'm Greg Wood, in case you don't know, I'm in your district. I've got the east side, 75 June. And I've talked to you several the last couple of weeks, and I know your concerns. I have concerns too. And our charge is the safety of the citizens first, the well-being of our citizens first, and the prosperity of our citizens first. And I agree 110% that this is not for children. It would ruin that community just quiet and all until everybody starts running up down the road. Trailers, things like that. But, so I'm gonna make a motion tonight that we deny the request for the rezoning of this property.
All right, I have a motion for denial. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hughes second. So all in favor of denying this request?
Mr. Richards, in favor of denying.
All right, so it's unanimous in favor of denying this request. Thank you, Mr. We're gonna get that off. Public hearing 6.2, Mr. Robert.
All right, thank you. We'll move on with our agenda. You're welcome to stay, or we'll let you quietly excuse yourself if you like. The next item on the agenda, 6.2, is public hearing application TC-ZA-24-06. The petition is being made by Atwater Investment Properties LLC as owner and Brian Atwater agent to rezone. I think this is his name. Maybe that's better. To rezone 0.85 tenths of an acre, which is tract located at 1482 South Carpenter Road, map 0046, parcel 037. The current zoning is ag, which is agriculture, and the requested zoning is residential professional for the purpose of converting an existing home to an insurance agency business. So with that, we'll bring to attention, as we said earlier, we have the procedure for public hearing and the conflict of interest laws that are on the law here to be considered. And at this point, I will open the public hearing, and then we'll ask staff to come forward and give their recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, before Chris comes, can I just make a brief statement?
Yes, sir.
If the audience would please, we want to hear everything they got to say, and I'm speaking for me, not for you guys. But staff they have a very hard job of bringing recommendations based on what the code says. And because you disagree with their interpretation, that does not make them a liar. It does not make them a bad person. They're trying to do a job. And if you would just show them the respect, you can address me, you can address this board with those complaints, but don't call staff liars or give any implication that they're out to try to do something nefarious, because that is not true. It's absolutely not true, regardless of what Mr. Purcell wants to say. The man's got a job to do, and he's trying to do it. And just the respect of let him do his report. And then if you don't agree with it, we want to hear that. It worked tonight. They heard what you said, regardless of what the staff report was. So just a little respect, if you mind, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you, Ms. Carter, for that. I appreciate it.
And while Chris is getting to the lecture, and I'll address the conflict of interest matter again with regard to this application. If there are any members of the board that themselves, family members, or any business in which they have an interest, has any financial interest in the property that's being rezoned, or any adjacent or nearby property that may be affected by this rezoning, please declare or any conflict of interest at this time. That directly reflect no conflict of interest. With that, Chris, would you please continue?
For our second application before you tonight is TC-ZA-24-06. Application made by Atwater Investment Properties LLC as the owner and Brian Atwater as the agent. Current zoning classification district of the property is AG agricultural. The 0.85 acre tract of land is located at 1482 South Carpenter Road, map 0046, parcel 037. The owner is requesting that the 0.85 acre tract be rezoned from AG agriculture to RP residential professional as you can see on your map, there is a slight sliver of land between this actual piece of property and the property to the north, which is already zoned residential professionals, already insurance agencies, offices there. There's a couple of them there. There's actually one that's going to be built in the near future. We have their plans on that same area. Mr. Atwater has asked that he is going to take the existing structure there, which is a brick home, and change it out to move his insurance agency from in town to out of the county. We posted the signs and the run ads in the paper requested by law. At the time of posting the ad and the sign on the property, we have not received any call in opposition or in favor of this request. The Greater Tift County Planning Commission reviewed this request on June 13th and voted to recommend approval to the board, stating that it met the majority of the 11 standards followed and the Tift County Comprehensive Plan. Now, at the Planning Commission, there was no one there to speak in opposition. Mr. Atwater was not able to attend. He did send a letter via email to me to have read to the planning board, which I did, and that's where they came to the vote. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions from this board concerning this matter.
All right, any questions from the board? All right, Mr. Long.
All right, thank you. This time, we'll entertain and listen to any comment or anyone that supports this application. If you will please come to the lectern and state your name, address, and you may direct your comments to the board. All right. Seems there's no one here to speak in support of. Is there anyone that would like to come and speak in opposition to this application? If so, likewise come to the lectern, state your name and address, please. Chairman, there appearing to be no public comment. We will close the public comments. This matter is ready for consideration by the board.
All right, any questions from the board members? Comments? All right, we have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like a motion that we accept the request for rezoning.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Wood, we have a second.
Second.
Or Commissioner Hester first, second, so all in favor?
Commissioner Reagan votes in favor.
All right, so it's unanimous. All right, thank you. We'll move on to item 6.3.
All right. Item 6.3, which is TC-ZA-24-07. This petition is being made by Rocky Patel, which is owner, and Tim Fuller as agent to rezone 5.12 acre tract located at 1949 Old O'Sill Road, map 0058, parcel 072. The property is currently zoned R21, which is medium density residential, and the requested zoning is CC, which is community commercial, for the purpose of constructing a convenience store. All right? So this matter coming before us, again point out that we have the public hearing procedures in the Georgia Conflict of Interest Law posted. We addressed the conflict of interest issue at this time. Once again, if there are any of the board that has themselves, a family member or business that has financial interest in the application that's coming before you, or any of the adjacent or nearby land, please state or declare conflict of interest. Let the record reflect there's been no such declaration at this point. Chris, will you bring the report forward for staff?
For the next application we have before us is TC-ZA-24-07. Application made by Rocky Patel, owner, and Tim Fuller, agent. The current zone of application in the district of the property is R21 medium residential. The 5.12 acre tract of land is located at 1949 Old O'Sill Road, map 0058, parcel 072. The owner is requesting the 5.12 acre tract be rezoned from R21 medium residential to CC community commercial for the purpose of developing a convenience store on the parcel. If this address and parcel sounds familiar to you, this is the same request we heard back in October that the board had voted to deny the request to rezone. It has changed ownership. It has waived the current time frame that's required by our ordinance for the 6 months elapsed from being denied. The property was posted and the ad was run in the paper as required by law. As you can see in your map provided in your packet, there is community commercial on 2 of the corners opposite of this parcel. There is residential behind the house, or behind this parcel. There's There were several folks in the planning commission to speak in opposition. The packet that you also have in front of you tonight has a couple of other extra things in it that we didn't have prior. There's a couple of different conceptual drawings. There's also a traffic study, but I'll let the owner or the engineer that's here, or the agent or the engineer that's here to explain those. That's what the extra stuff in your packet is. After posting it, like I said, we didn't have anybody call or come out of the office in opposition, but we did have 3 or 4 there at the planning commission to speak in opposition, and the engineer spoke in support of the request. Staff reviewed this application and found that it does meet majority of the 11 standards, follows the Tift County Comp Plan. The Tift County Planning and Zoning Commission voted on June 13th to recommend approval to the board. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions the board may have about this particular rezone.
Any questions? All right, thank you, Chris.
All right, with that, if anyone is here in support of this application, please come forward to the lectern, provide your name and address, please.
Chris mentioned we presented this before, and there were concerns from the local citizens, and I think you'll see that we've gone to great length to address those concerns. I want to start with traffic, which seemed to be the one that was most mentioned. We had a full traffic study done, and when I say that, I mean a few $1,000s were spent on this by the developer, and it was done by a professional engineer, custom engineering consultant. It is in your packet. It's a lot of numbers that there's no need to get into, a lot of the detail. What I want to do is just hit the highlights of it. As you can see, the trip generation for the proposed development was done for a convenience store slash gas station with 6 fueling positions. Using the GDOT forecasting method, Old Osceola Road shows a minor decrease in traffic over the years provided, which is the years 20. However, based on straight growth calculations of the roadway for the last 12 years, a growth rate of 0.003% was determined. In order to account for additional minor traffic growth due to school access, a growth rate of 0.1% will be used. This growth rate will be used to determine the projected data for the corridor. So moving on to the 3rd page, as you can see, the first sentence in that paragraph is based on the existing and proposed data. The intersection will operate efficiently on both the build and no-build conditions in the existing configuration. Moving on to our conclusions, our recommendations of improvements, and this is the section where if there was a need for any kind of improvements at the intersection, they would be noted here, such as the decel lane, left turn lanes, and things such as that. Based on the analysis, it is recommended that the intersection of Old Osceola Road and Lowwater Road remain signalized. The intersection will operate efficiently throughout the analysis period, as the development will have minimal impact to the intersection. Based on the data, no improvements are needed at this location, as the intersection will operate at a level of service B. Level of services A and B are considered optimal levels of services. And also, if we talk about the proposed driveways, one to Old Osceola, one to Lowwater Road, for both of them, it is recommended that these be constructed as stop-controlled minor stop intersections, which simply means a full access drive with a stop sign. Those are the highlights of the traffic report. I want to bring another concern into this same matter concerning school traffic, which was a big concern. So if you look at the actual time that this intersection is affected by school traffic, if we use 3 hours a day, an hour and a half in the morning, an hour and a half in the afternoon for school traffic for 180 days a year, that's 540 hours per year. The total hours in a year is 8,670 2%. So I hope you'll see that hinging this development on this small amount of time will be unwarranted. Also, concerning the roadway intersection, the developer has proposed to overlay Lowwater Road from the access proposed up to the intersection with heavy-duty asphalt to address any concerns for the maintenance of the roadway. Next, I want to sit on stormwater concerns briefly. For anyone that doesn't know, as the civil engineer, my job by law is to decrease the flow rate from this site compared to what it is pre-developed. So when it's developed, a detention pond will be built with a mountain control structure that will release the flow at a rate slower than it leaves the site currently. That is what the detention ponds are for, and they work very well. Concerning privacy, you all were handed an updated site plan. The developer has proposed to install an 8-foot tall chain link fence with privacy slats, as well as plant 8-foot Leland cypress trees to provide privacy to the neighboring property. These trees will grow 3 to 5 feet per year when they are young. Concerning lighting, a lighting plan will be done by professionals, and all lighting must and will be shielded and diverted away from neighboring properties. The privacy fence and trees will be additional shielding for that. And lastly, signage, rather than putting a tall pylon sign, the developer will put a monument sign to fit the look of the community a little better. This time, I'll take any questions on the board.
I apologize, Sheriff, it's a little difficult to hear here. You said something about a decel lane. You said it's not needed or there would be a decel lane.
Right. According to our traffic study, there are no needed improvements at the intersection. But we have offered to overlay Lowwater Road with heavy-duty asphalt from the point of access up to the intersection, just to help the maintenance of that road.
Any questions, comments from the board?
That's all, then we'll let you have a seat, and is there anyone else that wants to speak? Thank you, Jim. Is there anyone else that will speak on behalf of this application?
Good evening. My name is Meredith Rutland. I live at 5597 Union Road.
Speaking to the microphone.
Meredith Rutland, 5597 Union Road, Tifton, Georgia, 31704. Thank you. I put together a little pamphlet for you guys to better understand the typology of our community and additionally, you know, how that relates to the traffic flow that we're going to see. On average, there's about 2 cars per household in Tifton, and with our population currently sitting around 44,000 people, most people drive in Tifton alone to work with an average commute of 20.5 minutes, which means that they have an opportunity to need to refuel, they need to get food, groceries, just, you know, maybe pick up a quick candy bar and water. There's also some concern, I think, in the community, and I don't blame them, about convenience stores and what they may represent. But I think it's important to note the positive elements that they can provide to a community, closer access to some of those needs being met. The fourth page of your document shows a lot of good points that were put together by the National Association of Convenience Stores to emphasize the impact on neighborhoods in a positive light. And part of that shows that not only are there a lot of good, you know, interactions with their communities, that there's actually $1.3 billion in dollars contributed trees, as Chad mentioned. But additionally, they have hired separate architecture firms to provide 3 different concepts that are also included in your packet that would be your choice to vote on what you feel stylistically most fits within the fabric of this community. And that you just don't see every day. Most of the time, people who own that piece of property, they're going to do what they want to do because it's their dollars doing it. But these people in particular care about where they're coming and they want to be a solid investor in our community.
Thank you. Anyone else that would speak on behalf of this application? Okay, or anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this application?
No. Alan Murphy, 3604 Lowwater Road. Can you hear me? Tift from the 31794. There are a number of objections to this proposed development. First of all, as I've written out here, Mrs. Patel and Fuller, our request for rezoning of the tract is 5.12 acres from R21 to community commercial, or CC. By the way, not all the no adjacent community, as far as I know. No adjacent zoning is CC, the one directly across the road from them, which has the medical facility in it, is zoned commercial, not community commercial. That may be an old designation, and the website might not have been updated. I'm not really sure about that part. But the proposed convenience store, I measured this as best I could using the Fish and Wildlife Services measured device online, will occupy no more than 2.39 acres. What were the developers' plans for the rest? Granting CC zoning, the whole tract will leave about 2.73 acres open for future development of anything acceptable under CC zoning, anything at all. And when you look at your zoning tables, you'll see just how large a group of potential businesses that is. Some of those are likely to be even more detrimental to the community than a convenience store would be. So if you change it all, then that back portion of it could be anything. The developers may know what it is, they may not know what it is yet. However, there will be very few restrictions on it. Next, I'd like to point out the similarity to the previous denied proposal. It's highly likely that the project associated with this application would be confused with the application made in 2023, because of almost all